What you seek is seeking you.
What if I told you that nothing that hurts you really comes from the outside? That every word that cuts you, every look that shakes you, is only the echo of something dormant within you. Maybe it was never the world testing you, but your own soul trying to wake up. There are invisible, subtle, ancient forces quietly shaping every reaction, every emotion you think you're choosing on your own. But what if that choice was never really yours? All your life, you've been taught to react, to fight, to resist. They told you the world is harsh and that victory belongs to the strong. But no one ever told you that true strength isn't about conquering chaos. It's about standing still, right in the middle of it. No one explained that inner silence can shatter illusions more powerfully than any scream. Because what you're trying to control out there is just the shadow of what you refuse to face within. Every time someone insults you, every time life challenges you, a forgotten part of you rises. The universe doesn't punish you, it mirrors you. Every event, every loss, every bit of disorder is a mirror placed perfectly before your eyes. And as long as you see that mirror as the enemy, you'll keep fighting yourself. But then there's a moment when awareness awakens, and for a brief second, everything shifts. Chaos stops being a threat and turns into a code. Pain stops being punishment and reveals itself as a message. In that instant, you see, the world doesn't hurt you. It simply shows you who you are. Some people spend their whole lives reacting, trying to reshape the reflection, trying to force the mirror to smile. And then there are the few who stop. They look, they listen, they understand. When they stop blaming the outside, something opens within, and the whole world changes its texture. Suddenly, what once felt like hostility becomes an invitation. Every insult turns into a chance to heal. Every failure becomes a reminder of your own power. Reality starts to dance to the vibration you give off, and you realize the control you were chasing was only distraction all along. Can you feel that subtle restlessness quietly growing inside you? It's the beginning of the unraveling. The mind resists. The ego starts to scream because it senses the danger of being exposed for what it really is. It fears the gaze of awareness. It fears that you'll see control for what it truly is, the most elegant kind of prison. But when that castle of illusions begins to crumble, something timeless emerges. The pure presence, the calm witness behind everything that happens. Don't try to understand it. Just breathe. Some truths aren't learned. They're remembered. And what you're about to hear isn't a lesson, it's a mirror. It doesn't want to convince you. It only wants to remind you. To remind you of who you were before the fear, before the guilt, before the need to prove your worth to the world. When you see that reflection clearly, you'll realize that nothing and no one ever had power over you. Because what hurt you was never the world. It was the part of you that still believed it belonged to it. When you start to observe without reacting, something quiet moves inside you. Almost imperceptible, like the first breath before dawn. The voices of the world still call your name, still want your answer, your defense, your point of view. But now you sense the distance. The noise that once ruled you now echoes faintly, like a memory of who you used to be. And in that space between the trigger and the response, something rare appears. Power. Not the kind that controls, but the kind that dissolves. The power of not needing to fight in order to win. The mind, confused, tries to pull you back into the game. It whispers that letting go is dangerous, that allowing life to just unfold is foolish. It makes you believe the world will swallow you whole if you're not constantly alert. And for a moment, you believe it. Because fear is clever, it knows every escape route you've ever taken to avoid yourself. It disguises itself as caution, as logic, as responsibility. But look closer, and you'll see. Behind every need to control, there's only one emotion, the fear of disappearing. And that very fear is what keeps you from being whole. Because while you try to control the flow, you deny the nature of the universe itself. The river doesn't ask permission to run. The wind doesn't plan where to blow. Existence moves, and you are made of the same essence. Control is only the mind's attempt to trap the infinite inside something small. That's why it hurts. That's why it slips away. Because what you're trying to hold was never yours to begin with. At some point in this journey, you realize there are no enemies, that the people who hurt you were really disguised teachers, that every rejection was life pushing you inward, forcing you to find within what you'd been searching for outside. And pain begins to change its shape. What once felt unbearable becomes sacred. There's beauty in every scar, wisdom in every fall. Suffering loses its weight when you understand what it came to teach. But awakening doesn't come without a cost. Seeing yourself fully is a brutal act. It's facing the shadows you've hidden even from yourself. It's confronting pride, resentment, guilt, the endless hunger for approval. It's realizing how many times you've used pain as an excuse to stay small. The mind screams that you're not ready, that it's safer to stay on the surface where everything feels familiar. And that's where most people turn back, because truth is unbearable for those who still need the lie to exist. But if you stay, if you walk through the fire without running, something extraordinary happens. The masks begin to fall. The voice that once said, "I am," fades away, and in its place, silence rises. A silence that isn't empty, but full, pure presence. It's as if your entire being breathes in unison with the universe. No more division, no inside or outside, only awareness watching itself. And when you return from that moment, nothing is ever the same. The same situations keep appearing, the same people, the same circumstances, but you're no longer the same. Where you used to react, now you choose. Where there was pain, now there's understanding. You realize the world doesn't need to change for you to find peace. It's your perception that transforms, and suddenly, what once felt hostile becomes neutral, even kind. The paradox is, the more you let go, the smoother everything flows. The opportunities you used to chase begin to come to you. The right people show up, paths open. And it's not magic, it's alignment. Reality mirrors your inner state, and when your vibration shifts, the universe rearranges to reflect that. But the mind doesn't understand. It tries to claim it, to turn it into a method, a formula, a doctrine. It wants to repeat the mystery, forgetting that the mystery is alive. Then comes the most subtle temptation of all, believing that you've awakened. The spiritual mind, dressed up as wisdom, starts taking pride in its silence, competing in serenity, showing off its light. But the ego hasn't gone, it's just changed clothes. Constant awareness is needed because awakening isn't a trophy. It's a practice renewed with every breath. Each moment is an invitation to return to center and to remember that there is no center to find. Some days, the old pain comes back, disguised as nostalgia or guilt. Sometimes you find yourself reacting again, trying to control, trying to prove something. And that's okay. The process isn't linear. Each fall brings back a part of you that's been waiting to be seen. Self-compassion is the light that keeps burning when everything feels dark. Because true mastery isn't control over emotions, but how you relate to them. Slowly, you begin to understand that the power of being untouchable doesn't come from shielding yourself from the world, but from letting the world move through you without leaving a mark. Emotions rise and fall like waves, and you are the ocean holding them. There's no need to defend, to justify, to react. Serenity becomes natural, not because life got easier, but because you stopped resisting it. Lightness isn't the absence of weight, it's the ability to carry it consciously. And the deeper you go, the clearer you see that everything around you was always just a play of mirrors. The other never truly existed outside you. The circumstances were never unfair. Time never stole anything from you. Everything was a stage for your growth. The theater where consciousness rehearsed remembering itself. Every person, every challenge, every loss was a line written by the universe to guide you back to your essence. And when you see this, life stops being a battlefield and becomes a dance. There are moments when this understanding feels so vast, it almost scares you. The feeling of being everything can seem like madness, but that's when the mind surrenders and the heart takes over. That's when you stop searching for meaning and start feeling it pulsing through you. Reality bends before a presence that doesn't demand, it just is. And everything that used to be struggle turns into quiet harmony. Then comes an even deeper layer, a place beyond words, where awareness realizes that even awakening itself is a delicate illusion, a bridge leading back to the original silence. There are no more questions, no answers. Good and evil fade like fog in the morning light. Duality dissolves. What remains is pure experience. No you watching, only watching itself. Vast, infinite, still. Here, time stops. The untouchable one is not the one who protects, but the one who surrenders completely. True invulnerability is born from total vulnerability. The secret isn't resisting the world, it's allowing it to pass through you. Nothing to win, because there was never a battle. Life is a transparent mirror reflecting what you are, until you recognize yourself as the reflection itself. When the world calls you back, when the voices return, when reality tries to pull you again into the game, something has changed. There's no urgency, no fear, no rush. You walk through the same world as before, but now with infinite eyes. Everything breathes with you. Nothing threatens you. Nothing separates you from yourself. And then silence returns, not as emptiness, but as living presence, pulsing between each thought and heartbeat. Everything that was said, everything that was felt, now fades like mist revealing what's essential. The world stays the same. The voices are still outside, but something inside you no longer answers the same way. There's a new gaze, a deeper listening, a space where once there was only reaction. And that space, that's where the untouchable lives, waiting to be remembered. It never left. It was only waiting for your invitation. Maybe now you understand that awakening isn't the end of anything. It's the beginning of a perception you can never lose again. Nothing truly changes, yet everything is different. What once was pain becomes a signal. What once was fear becomes a guide. The control that trapped you melts away, and in its place appears a quiet surrender that feels like courage. Because real strength isn't resisting what comes, it's opening fully to the flow of life, trusting that every wave knows its way back to the sea. There's a moment when thought tries to return, to analyze, interpret, explain what happened. But you already know what was felt can't be put into words. It's like trying to catch the wind with your hands. The mind wants to understand. The heart simply recognizes. And in that silent recognition, everything falls into place. The sky is the same, the storms still come. But now, you are the sky, not the storm. And that is the kind of freedom no one can ever take from you. Tomorrow, in the middle of routine, you might notice something subtle. A noise that once annoyed you no longer touches you. An insult that used to hurt just passes through. A fear that once froze you now feels like curiosity. And you'll remember this moment, this voice, this feeling that didn't ask for faith, only for presence. You'll realize the sacred has always been in the simple, that the extraordinary hides in the obvious, that true power is the calm that comes when you stop fighting the inevitable. The world will keep testing you, provoking you, trying to pull you back into illusion. But the spark inside stays lit, because it's not the wind that moves the sea, it's the ocean that dances with the wind. And every time you forget, life will find a new way to remind you. Because awakening isn't a single moment, it's a constant return to yourself. If this message touched something in you, don't let it get lost in the noise. Let it expand. Share it. Speak it. Be part of this space where silence finds its voice and awareness takes shape. Not out of habit, but out of meaning. Because maybe, by letting this message echo, you'll remind someone, just as you've been reminded now, that nothing outside can truly hurt you once you remember who you are within.